What's up, guys? Welcome back. So this will be weekly forecast or forex markets review for the weeks of September 25th through September 29th, which is Monday through Friday. So I'm going to start with the dollar index, and last week this was a price action, and I told you guys that I would love to see this buy side taken out, and we were very close to taking out the buy side, and ultimately I told you that I expected a higher move to the upside dollar index. This coming week I'll still expect price to open, drop down a little, and then rip off this buy side liquidity we have here for the dollar index. That's what we'll have for the weekly time frame. Then for the daily time frame, we have dollar index. We've already covered this volume imbalance. A volume imbalance is when we have two candles. We have a gap between the bodies of two candles. The wicks might overlap, but we have a gap between the bodies of the candles. So we traded above the volume imbalance, and then now this week we saw it trading down to this other block and then ripping up above. So this coming week I would love to see price take out this buy side liquidity for the daily time frame on the dollar index. We'll move to the next currency, which is the euro dollar. For the euro dollar, last week, the past few weeks, we've seen lower prices, just as we've predicted rightly about what will happen. And after hitting this volume imbalance on the higher time frame, you might want to look to your left on your weekly time frame to see what price action we have here. It's actually volume imbalance, and then we've not been respecting rather discount arrays because we've not gotten to our objectives just yet. In fact, what's been happening so far is that every fair value gap has been turning into an inversion fair value gap. This is for the daily time frame, and this for the weekly time frame. This was a fair value gap when we have three candles: candles 1, candles 2, candles 3, and there is a gap between candles 1 and candles 3. With candle 2 we have one straight candle up. Look at the high of candles 1, low of candles 3. We have this gap between them. That is a fair value gap. So when we trade below a fair value gap, we close below it and price comes back to it, we see that as a resistance. So that's what's been happening in the past few weeks. And then now, last week price action, we saw price taking out this sell side slightly, and now this week we've seen a proper raid of this sell side liquidity. So now, what is my bias for this next coming week? I'd love to see price take out this sell side. It might not happen this week, or looking forward to, but definitely we'll be seeing lower prices until we take out this sell side for the euro dollar daily time frame. For the daily time frame euro dollar, we saw that price drop down, and this was a fair value gap, and then once price traded back into it, we saw how price was respecting the low end of the fair value gap before ripping to the downside. And then these are our price action for this week. So still on our daily time frame, I would expect to see price gradually take out this sell side in this upcoming weeks. We'll move on to the next currency we'll be looking at today, which is the British pound dollar. The British pound dollar. Well, in the past few weeks, last week we had this price action, and then I told you that this week I'm expecting this sell side to be taken, this low. I want price to take out this low, and this was the price action we had this last week. We actually took out the sell side on our weekly time frame. So now what am I looking forward to this coming week? Well, our next discount array would be this other block. Another block is a change in the state of delivery. It's just like we're having up candles, now we have down candles. These down candles, now we are resuming to getting more up candles. I'll do more videos about order block. It's a change in state of delivery. So this is the last down candle before the change of delivery, continuation of the trend to the upside. So this is a very important candle because here is where we had the change in the state of delivery. So this coming week, I'd love to see price expand down towards this bullish order block. Are we going to respect it? I do not know yet. How we trade into it and trades will determine that. But here's our first objective, and then when we trade to it and through it, we might be looking at the sell side. But overall, I'm expecting lower prices this coming week for the pound dollar. Daily time frame. So here is also the price action we saw on the weekly time frame. Here was the sell side, and we've taken out the sell side. And this coming week, I would like to see price trade into this order block, transport into the daily time frame. Here is the last order block. These two consecutive candles become one candle when we go into 2-day time frame. So I would love to see price trade into this daily order block, and then there is a fair value gap here, but let's focus on lowest hanging fruit, which is this daily order block for the pound dollar. And then finally, for this week, we're going to talk about the Canadian dollar, the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, USDCAD. Last week, I spoke of the possibility of trading into this fair value gap for the weekly time frame. Fair value gap, candles 1, candles 2, candles 3. I outlined this clearly last week, and then we traded into it. But now we've rejected this price action, so we will likely be seeing higher prices, which is coming back to take out this buy side for the Canadian dollar. Daily time frame. Well, on our daily time frame, so here's what we're going to expect. Here's the fair value gap for the weekly time frame, and we would be expecting higher prices, possibly taking out this buy side, this few coming in the next coming days. It might not happen this week, but definitely we'll be expecting higher prices towards buy side. So now, what are you supposed to do with this information? Whatever you're trading this week, make sure that you are looking at lower prices if you are trading against the dollar. If you are trading against the dollar, for example, this example I gave, euro dollar, lower prices, pound dollar, lower prices, Canadian dollar versus the USD, higher prices, and the dollar index, of course, will be expecting higher prices. And what you're going to do with this information, if you have a strategy that works for you, you should be looking more to trade towards the direction of where we have our weekly analysis. And like I mentioned, and I've always mentioned so many times in the past, when I make weekly analysis like this and we have news drivers, we will likely see price delivering towards where I mentioned that price would go during these popular news drivers. For example, we have a news on Thursday, thereabout Wednesday, Thursday this week. We should be expecting lower prices on this news. Is this giving you a trade signal? No, definitely not. It's suggesting that if you know exactly what you're doing, then the bias has been made for you already, and all you have to do is to look for your strategy and trade towards that direction. Does this mean you won't have retracements? Definitely you will, but you have bigger moves, more expansion to the downside if you're trading euro dollar, for example. And I think that should be all for now until I talk to you next time. I wish you good luck and be safe.